Everyone, this is just a quick video update for week 5, if you can believe it. I am very excited that all of you have been doing such a wonderful job and keep up the good work this week. There is a lot of work this week, but I promise it will all be worth it in the end. The next 2 weeks after this week are going to be a little bit lighter on the load as we start working on these annotated bibliographies. So hopefully it'll be a little bit of a slight break going into spring break, because spring break is just in 2 weeks. That's amazing. A few things about this week. One, on Tuesday, I might not be quite as available as I normally am. I'll still be here if you need anything. A lot of you have mentioned that you are parents. And on Monday, my son, who is 4 months old, is getting his 4-month shots. And those of you who are parents or have siblings know that sometimes when infants get shots, they don't feel very good the next day. And that's kind of what I'm technically taking Tuesday off. But if you still need me, feel free to call or text or email. I just might not be as quick to respond to you, but hopefully I can get back to you as soon as possible. I'll definitely, especially Tuesday night when my husband gets home and can kind of take over baby duty, I'll make sure I'm going into email and checking all my messages and making sure I'm getting back to you. And I appreciate your understanding with that. For discussions this week, it's a little bit different. We are going to be doing a peer review for your proposal. So it doesn't matter how much of your proposal you have, as long as you have something. Hopefully the whole proposal, but if just whatever you have, upload it to the Dropbox. You were divided into groups, and so only like 1 to 2 other people are going to be able to even see your paper, including me. If we were in a face-to-face class, we would be doing this in a face-to-face class where you would be exchanging it with at least 2 classmates, and they would just be kind of judging it based off of this criteria. Judge is kind of actually a harsh word, but just making sure you have all the elements. Is it following the prompt? Is it in kind of that MLA format? And this one, I'm not really grading heavily on that MLA formatting. I just want to see where you are on it. And if you notice that their MLA formatting is a little bit off, just let them know. Are there any errors? If you didn't notice any, that's fine. And if it turns out there was one, it's not a big deal. Hopefully I'll catch it when the first draft is turned in. But if you do notice something, just point it out. Hey, I think you're going to need a comma here. Or, oh, this is one of those homonyms. You meant to put TEN, but you put TIN. Little things like that. Make sure you're pointing anything out that you see. Is it easy to follow? Does it make sense how it's organized? Does it have all those criteria, but they're organized in a way where it's really super easy to follow that? Name one thing the person did really well. Like if it just has outstanding organization, or if they present the topic that's like in a really cool, fascinating way, let them know that. And also, but name something that they could improve on. Like, the font you used, it wasn't Times New Roman, but it was just kind of, it made it a little bit difficult to follow. Or, with MLA it's supposed to be double spaced and you single spaced. So, point out something like that if they need to fix that. So there are, I think, all the groups except for one have 3. So if, let's say, you upload your rough draft, but your 2 peer people that are supposed to review yours don't, it's not going to count against you. But if all 3 of you upload it, make sure that you are reviewing both peers, if that makes any sense. If you have any questions about that, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. And if you do run into that situation where you upload your document, but your other 2 reviewers don't, I will be going in and taking a look, and I will reply with those criteria and just kind of let you know, hey, you are missing this. This could use a little bit of an improvement upon before you turn in your first draft for me to view. Now, your first draft of your proposal is going to be due on Sunday. So for this particular discussion board, I say it's due on Sunday, but I would really appreciate it if all of you could get the feedback to your person by Friday. That way, that gives them a few days before it's due on Sunday to go and make any corrections or changes if they need it, or even sooner if you can do that. If you do have a question that you're just like, oh, they gave me this feedback and I don't know if it's right or not, shoot me an email. I'll take a look at it and tell you, yes, you did need a comma there, or oh, that's a comma splice, you need a semicolon or whatnot. I'll be happy to go over that with you. Now, just real quick, speaking of proposals, the two student examples that I showed you last week, actually, wait, that's the student example. Let me get this one. The first one did an excellent job. They have a really, really good hook in that first paragraph. You don't have to do that. If you just want to start it off right off the bat, I'm going to be writing my paper on autism and vaccines. That's perfectly fine with me. But if you want to try to be a little bit more creative with it and try to, come up with a really cool hook or something in that first paragraph, go for it. Experiment with it. See if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll take it out and improve upon it. Remember, from our previous conversations, this whole idea that writing is fluid, that is something that I'm very much trying to emphasize. This particular paper, they did meet all the criteria. They organized it very well. The MLA formatting is something I want to point out. They did an excellent job with that. The MLA formatting, you have to have the header. So it's your name, my name, the class name, and you can just put English 1020 if you want to, and the date. And notice that the date is day, month, year. MLA requires it like they do. Actually, most of the rest of the world does day, month, year for the dates. It makes it really hard the few times I have traveled with my son internationally. His birthday is January 2nd. So I always want to write 1-2, but like if you're flying into Europe or somewhere like that, it's 2-1. And so you have to remember to do that. It does need a title, and I'm fine if you just put proposal or proposal for my research paper, or, you can put your topic. Let's say this one's like body farm proposal. That's cool. As long as it has a title there, that's all I'm going to be looking for. And of course, the page numbers at the top of the page. And if you have trouble remembering how to do page numbers, it is insert. And if you go over here to page numbers, top of page, and then it's plain number 3 if you're on a PC. So that's how you do that. Now the other paper, it had a few errors. It has some errors in the MLA formatting. And so I would say, hey, your MLA formatting was a little bit off. This is what your header needs to look like. It started out actually, and it's missing the page numbers. It started out not too bad. It kind of gave some background, the information of the disease, which that's something you can do. You can give a little bit of background information. But it didn't meet all the criteria. It didn't really give me a working thesis statement, which is, again, that's something it can change as you progress with your paper. But I just want you to at least have an idea of what your thesis statement might wind up being. It can change. I can't emphasize that enough. And I don't know, the paragraphs are really short. I felt like they could have combined this. So by saying I am going to have to research, and it's a little bit awkwardly worded too, I'm going to have to research how it affects people's everyday lives. And I could possibly do this by interviewing those who have this disease. Don't forget, interviews are a great source for research papers. I think I mentioned for several of you, hey, try an interview for this. If you still are struggling with sources, then that's something that you can do. It says there are many videos and articles that have real patients talking about how they live their everyday lives. But what else? A lot of hospitals have published articles on this disease. But where are you going to go to find those? For this particular paper, they probably be going to PubMed. They're going to be searching academic databases. They can be conducting interviews. So they just need a little bit more specific information there. And also going back to this, the previous paragraph, is like some of the things they probably need to know a little bit more about the disease, like what is it, and things like that. But she asked those questions up here, but it seems like it would belong better down here. So the organization of this is just very off, and so I think doing a scratch outline before writing the paper maybe could have helped to make sure that the organization was there and that it would flow nicely. Part of one of the things I am kind of doing with this particular assignment is seeing if you can take a set of criteria like is in your proposal prompt, and can you organize it in a logical manner. So that's why I purposely didn't give you a kind of like a format, so to say, like of exactly where I want different things, because I want to see if you can organize that. And that's the thing with this whole idea of writing is fluid. if you mess up a little bit, like this particular student, yes, they kind of messed up a little bit. They missed a criteria, but you know what? We caught it on the peer review. And by the time they turned in their final copy of their draft that was like determining whether or not they got a good grade or not, we could turn that around and make sure that it is exactly the way it needs to be. So just have some confidence in your writing and just try it. Try your best with it. Going also back over here, just a few things. For your Dropbox, you do have a couple of assignments this week. We are starting to get into citations. And so I don't want you to stress about it too much. You do have an assignment where I'm going to be asking you to create a citation. I'm going to be grading it on effort. If you kind of mess up on the citation a little bit, it's going to be fine. All right. So I just want to emphasize that too, that don't stress over it. We'll figure it out. Not figure it out, but if there are mistakes or errors, I'll let you know, but it's not like you're going to lose points off of this particular asynchronous assignment just because it's not perfect. But as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know.